Question number one. What is more frequently cited as the easiest way to interact with Microsoft Azure? And we have the following four options. Option A, using the Azure portal. Option B, using Azure PowerShell. Option C, using the Azure CLI. Option D, using the Azure SDK. So the right answer here is option A, using the Azure portal. There are many ways to interact with Azure. The Azure portal runs in a browser, so you don't need to install anything to use it. Alternatively, you can install the CLI, the command line interface, Azure PowerShell, or the SDK, Software Development Kit. The Azure portal is frequently cited as the easiest way to get started, though. Question number two. How does Azure CDN improve the performance of web applications hosted on Azure? And we have the following four options. Option A, it catches frequently accessed content in locations close to your customers. Option B, it automatically scales the number of virtual machines required to process incoming read request. Option C, it transmits data to customers over private high bandwidth connections rather than over the public internet. Option D, it catches incoming read requests for frequently accessed data and improves the performance of application databases. So the right answer here is option A, it catches frequently accessed contents in locations close to your customers. One really helpful service for speeding up the responsiveness of your applications is Azure Content Delivery Network, which lets you take advantage of Microsoft's extensive global network. It catches your most frequently accessed content in locations around the world, so your end users will retrieve it from the closest point on the network. This really helps with making your web applications feel more like local applications. Question number three. Which Azure Management Service informs you about problems with the Azure platform itself and upcoming maintenance events? And we have the following four options. Azure Monitor, Azure Application Insights, Azure Service Health, Azure Advisor. So the right option here is Azure Service Health. Microsoft also provides a dashboard called Service Health where you can find out about problems with the Azure platform itself as well as upcoming maintenance events. You can even create alerts so you will be notified of both planned and unplanned outages. Question number four. What does the secure score in Microsoft Defender for Cloud indicate? And we have the following four options. Option A, the secure score indicates how compliant resource configurations are with management account policies. The more compliant your environment is, the higher the percentage score will be. Option B, the secure score indicates the general security health of your Azure resources. The more secure your environment is, the higher the percentage score will be. Option C, the secure score indicates actual resources performance trends compared to related Azure service license agreements. A higher percentage indicates better resource performance. Option D, the secure score indicates resource metric data compared to defined thresholds that would trigger performance monitoring alerts. The lower the percentage, the lower the number of resources that have recently passed advised thresholds. So the right option is option B. The central feature in Defender for Cloud that enables you to achieve those goals is the secure score. Defender for Cloud continually accesses your cross-cloud resources for security issues. It then aggregates all the findings into a single score so that you can tell at a glance your current security situation. The higher the score, the lower the identified risk level. So question number 5, what Azure Cloud Compute Service is useful when planning a lift and shift migration of an application from an on-premises environment to the Azure cloud? And we have the following four options: Azure Virtual Machines, Azure Functions, Azure Container Instances, and Azure DevOps. So the right option here is option A, Azure Virtual Machines. Azure Virtual Machines are a service known as infrastructure as a service because they are traditionally IT infrastructure components that are offered as a service. For this reason, they are the most logical way to perform a lift and shift operation. If you currently have an application running on a Windows or Linux server, then the most straightforward way to migrate it to Azure is to do what's called lift and shift migration. You lift the application from your on-premises server and shift it to a virtual server in the cloud. Azure Functions, Azure Container Instances, and Azure DevOps are all components of Azure. However, they are not the most relevant services for planning the migration from on-premises to the Azure cloud. Question number 6. What Azure service allows you to automate tasks with a simple drag and drop interface and without the use of code? And we have the following four options: Azure Logic Apps, Azure Functions, Azure App Service, Azure API Management. So the right answer here is option A, Azure Logic Apps. Microsoft offers a service called Azure Logic Apps that lets you automate tasks without writing any code. You can create a logic app using a drag and drop interface. So question number 7, which service within the Azure DevOps suite allows you to quickly create disposable non-production environments with additional tools to control costs? And we have the following four options: Azure Pipelines, Azure Dev Test Labs, Azure Boards, Azure Repos. So the right answer here is option B, Azure Dev Test Labs. A service within Azure DevOps, Azure Dev Test Labs make it easy to spin up non-production environments. You could do these in other ways, but Dev Test Labs gives you some extra capabilities, such as allowing administrators to control cost by setting limits on how many VMs can be deployed at once and ensuring that VMs are shut down when they're not in use. Question number 8. Which Azure service should you use if you want to provide load balancing for VMs or web apps that are distributed across multiple regions? And we have the following four options: Azure Monitor, Azure Traffic Manager, Azure Express Route, Azure Container Networking Interface. So the right answer here is option B, Azure Traffic Manager. If you want to provide load balancing for VMs or web apps that are distributed across multiple regions, then you will need to use Azure Traffic Manager. Question number 9. What is an Azure resource group? And we have the following four options. Option A, a Azure defined set of Azure resources located in the same region. Option B, a container that holds related resources for an Azure solution. Option C, a user defined set of Azure resources located in the same availability zone. And option D, a JSON file used to deploy Azure resources. So the right answer here is option B, a container that holds related resources for an Azure solution. A resource group holds related resources for an Azure solution. It can include all the resources for the solution or only those resources that you want to manage as a group. You decide how you want to allocate resources to resource groups based on what makes the most sense of your organization. Question number 10. The compliance dashboard for Microsoft Defender for Cloud is connected with which of the following services to allow you to create compliance requirements for accounts and resources within your Azure account? And we have the following four options: Azure Policy, Azure Advisor, Azure Monitor, and Azure Service Health. So the right answer here is option A, Azure Policy. First, it shows you how compliant your Azure subscriptions are. This is based on policies that you create in a service called Naturally Azure Policy. For example, if someone in your organization creates a subscription that doesn't have a regulatory policy controls assigned to it, then it will show up in this compliance panel. Question number 11. Which of the following services is an example of infrastructure as a service or IaaS on Microsoft Azure? And we have the following four options: Azure Virtual Machines, Azure App Service, Azure Functions, Azure Kubernetes Service. So the right answer here is option A, Azure Virtual Machines. If you currently have an application running on Windows or Linux server, then the most straightforward way to migrate it to Azure is to do what's called a lift and shift migration. That is, you simply lift the application from your on-premises server and shift it to a virtual server in the cloud. Azure VMs are known as infrastructure as a service because they are traditional IT infrastructure components that are offered as a service. Question number 12. The dash is the graphic user interface for Microsoft Azure that runs in a web browser. And we have the following four options: Azure Portal, Azure PowerShell, Azure CLI, Azure SDK. So the right option here is option A, Azure Portal. Suppose you have a server application that you want to migrate to the cloud. As I mentioned earlier, the most straightforward way to do this is to move the application to a virtual machine on Azure. There are many ways to interact with Azure. The Azure portal runs in a browser, so you don't need to install anything to use it. Alternatively, you can install the CLI, which stands for Command Line Interface, or Azure PowerShell, or the SDK, which stands for Software Development Kit. Question number 13. Which service simplifies the process of configuring, deploying, and managing a simple containerized application on the Azure cloud? And we have the following four options: Azure Container Instances, Azure Functions, Azure App Service, and Azure Pipelines. So the right option here is option A, Azure Container Instances. Containers are somewhat like virtual machines, except they don't include the operating system. This makes it easy to deploy them because they are very lightweight compared to virtual machines. In fact, containers run on virtual machines. Microsoft provides a variety of ways to run containers. The simplest way is to use Azure Container Instances. This service lets you run a container using a single command. So question number 14. Azure Dash is a monitoring and performance analysis tool for apps. And we have the following four options: Databricks, Application Insights, Visual Studio, App Service. So the right answer here is option B, Application Insights. This last part of Q&A Maker setup is to enable Application Insights, which is a performance analysis tool for apps. Question number 15. Which Azure service can help you specially manage the process of moving on-premises application to the Azure cloud? And we have the following four options: Azure Migrate, Azure Functions, Azure Monitor, and Azure Active Directory. So the right option here is option A, Azure Migrate. If your organization is just getting started with Azure, then one of the first things you will want to do is figure out how you can migrate at least some of your existing applications to Azure. Microsoft provides a great tool for these called Azure Migrate. First, it discovers your on-premises servers, both physical and virtual. On the virtual side, this includes both Hyper-V and VMware. Then it accesses these machines. For each one, it tells you whether or not it's ready to migrate, how big the Azure VM will be, how much it will cost, and any dependent servers that will also need to be migrated. When you are ready, it will even help you to do the migration. Azure Migrate is also integrated with other tools to help you migrate SQL Server databases, web apps, and data. Also, if you have a virtual desktop infrastructure, there's a tool that will do an assessment to help you migrate it to Windows Virtual Desktop, which is hosted on Azure.